Hey there! Every month, Annie has a call with our Path 365 members and answers their questions. She tackles a wide range of topics from what to do with big emotions, what kinds of tips and advice she has for addressing difficult situations, how to deal with cravings, and so much more. Listen in as she does some real-life coaching for our Path members.
On the psychological dependence, right now in the beginning, how do I move through being triggered emotionally to drink? I have a history of 30 plus years of using wine as my go-to to numb and shift my emotions. All right. So when we get into the take a break content and where we actually are out of the pause, there are so many ways that we have to overcome triggers, because there is a physiological response to not only to the alcohol in the moment, but to our prior stories about alcohol. So for instance, every time you do a first, like your first wedding or your first happy hour, you're going to have a response that's just been patterned into your brain. There's something called Hebb's law. Hebb's law is a neurological principle, and it says neurons that fire together wire together, which means that if you do the same things at the same time, those neurons will create a pattern in your brain, and that pattern will trigger. So you walk into the happy hour with all your colleagues, and first time that you're going to order an iced tea instead of a beer, you're going to have a triggered pattern. And you're going to be like, oh my God, the brain's going to say, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? This isn't working. I can't believe it. I'm totally failing. Everybody else is more successful. And it's going to have its whole story. And you're going to be like, I see you, and you're having your whole story because human. Thank you very much. And I feel a craving. So what am I going to do about that? And what we teach in the meditations that will be available to you are all about actually going into that feeling in your body and watching it. Because the feeling in your body, we're so scared of that feeling in your body that we like just distance from it, and we try to make it go away. We try to avoid certain places. We try to avoid certain things. But if you go into your body and you watch it, it loses all its power. And we actually have you just like track your cravings. It's like, just track your cravings. And guess what happens? You track your cravings over time and they just lose their power. And it's not just like a very small linear decrease in intensity. It is like off a cliff. So say you were like me and you always drank in the airport. I was a big airport drinker. I was a big everywhere drinker, but airports were doubling down on airports because I knew I didn't have to drive anywhere. So I walked by the bar in the airport. The first time I did it, maybe my craving was a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. The very next flight, return flight, bar in the airport, it was a 2 out of 10. You make it through one of these consciously, mindfully, and the bottom drops out. It doesn't go 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, back to a 9. It's like when you make it through consciously and when you watch yourself, and there's tons of really, really cool studies that back this up, but we have all of that sort of stuff.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're ready to see how This Naked Mind can help you on your personal health and wellness journey and want to learn more, go to thisnakedmindpodcast.com to learn what your next best step is. Again, that's thisnakedmindpodcast.com. We have all of our free resources, programs, social links, and more available for you there. Plus, if you have your own naked life story to share, you can submit it there as well. Until next week, stay curious.